Miss Knowles, are you there? Are we good to go?
Yes, we're here. We're good to go, and we are live.
Good afternoon, everyone. I see some participants are still coming on, but welcome to day 3 of our webinars on preparing for an unprecedented future. Today we have as our guest presenter, the dynamic and the energetic Mr. Terente Lang. I was very excited about each day's presenter, but Terente, I don't know if it's because you're the only male on the panel, but I had like maybe 1% more enthusiasm. And I think too, because I am in a chapter of my life now where I am getting ready to start something new. And I think you would be the perfect person to speak on that today. And so I just want to take a minute to introduce Mr. Lang before he gets right in it. But he is currently the managing nutrition advisor and fitness professional of Cardioblast Experience. He has a very big clientele, a company that he founded nearly 4 years ago. The company focuses on providing clients with health management and improvement services and has touched more than 2,000 lives across the Bahamas as well as globally. Terente is a certified personal trainer and corrective exercise specialist. He received the certification from the National Academy of Sports Medicine Standards, and he is a certified group fitness instructor certified by the American Fitness Association of America. Additionally, Terente is a senior at the University of the Bahamas, where he is pursuing a business administration degree with a special focus in management. As far as nutrition, Mr. Lang is a certified nutrition advisor by Penn Foster, NASM, and American College of Sports Medicine Standards. His background is nutrition, which has encouraged his latest venture, his restaurant, Keeping It Clean, which is a healthy, oh my goodness, real healthy but real tasty takeout restaurant, where he is the proprietor and the restaurant manager. And so he is someone who embodies turning your passion into purpose and into money. And so I want to turn this presentation over to Mr. Lang, who is going to tell you how it's done. So welcome to him. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And I'm very excited to provide you guys with some tips. When it comes to most of my presentations, I try to keep it as simple and effective as possible. So I really try to ensure that the message is tailored so I could be extremely impactful to the audience and to the group. And so what I did is I prepared a very simple PowerPoint presentation to give you guys the synopsis and for you guys to have some visuals to look at to make it a little bit easier. And so I'm going to share the screen for that to happen now. All right, so everyone should be able to see my screen. Everyone can see the presentation.
Yes. We can see the notes on the side though. You need to put it on full screen, slideshow.
Which notes?
Well, we can see all the slides, not just
okay.
not just the present one.
Let me change the view. Okay, slide. No, why did I do that? Okay, so let's change the view.
Or would you go to slideshow?
Yeah, I could do that as well. Yeah, that'll make it easier. All right, perfect. So we'll go right from there. Okay, that's much better. Good.
Perfect.
Excellent. All right, so entrepreneurship and finding your passion. All right. And so Keldra gave an excellent intro for me. Pretty much, she pretty much included everything. So those are my certifications. And I think when I sent you that CV, I was a senior, but I recently graduated from UB. So I have my bachelor's in business administration with management. Also, additionally, what has recently happened too is I opened up a cafe called Dolce Cafe. And so it's pretty much outside of the health arena, even though we do have some healthy alternatives. But for the most part, it's more so pastries, coffee, specialty items, and so on and so forth. And so on the slide on the left hand side, that's pretty much my, I guess, my fitness resume, telling you a little bit about me. And in the middle right here, so this is my before and after picture. What actually inspired my journey is that I dropped 70 pounds. I had a physical. I found out that I was obese type 2. And so that inspired me to go on a weight loss journey where I was able to drop 70 pounds within 6 months. And so that's pretty much how Cardio Blast started. And then from Cardio Blast, it pretty much inspired keeping it clean and all the other business ventures. Okay, excellent. I guess we'll probably have a portion at the end for questions and answers. Keldra.
Yes.
Okay,
If you prefer questions throughout, if that will help your presentation, you have that option too. But typically, yeah, we would take questions at the end.
Okay, either way. I guess if you have like a little chat where you could let me know if there are any questions as I go through, or you want to just wait until the end.
Well, as the presentation is going on, you can put your questions in the chat, and when it's an opportune time, we will address the questions. Okay, but
Perfect.
you can go with what you have planned.
Excellent. All right, thanks so much. All right, good. So the first thing what I'd recommend is discovering your passion. So you want to do a full inventory on your talents. So pretty much what that pretty much entails is that you really need to understand what are the things that you are talented in and the things that you feel as if you're gifted in that are effortless. And for me, when it came to Cardio Blast in particular, and even a bit with cooking, for Cardio Blast, I just loved working out. And it was even the point where I would work out for sometimes 4, 5, 6 hours a day. And at first, I actually thought for the fact that I loved it so much and that money wasn't such a big deal, I actually used to cut myself short very often. I used to offer free personal training sessions, free group fitness sessions, mainly for the fact that I just wanted to help people because I loved what I did so much. And I felt as if my compensation would be helping or touching a life. And so that's, in a lot of cases, that's what really helped me to keep going and keep pushing. And so the next point is pay attention to who makes you annoyed or motivated. So the professions or anything that you're doing, if you feel as if it's something that you resent, then don't make it your profession. As simple as that. You don't want to make it a profession. What you want to do is, and you don't even want it to be the business that you select. What you want to do is that when it comes to your profession and both businesses, you want to choose things that you know you enjoy and that you're passionate about. Because there will come some point, even if you're only doing it from a monetary standpoint, there will come some point that the money will not be enough. The money alone will not keep you motivated. And so if you do not enjoy it, you're not going to be in that profession or even that business for a very long time. Another great way too is that you can look back at your childhood, think of what you loved as a child. So anything during your childhood that you loved, that you always dreamed of doing, I would encourage anyone to pursue, even when it comes to a business. Notice when you lose track of time or what you're doing. For me personally, what used to happen very often too with Cardio Blast is that I used to run out of time in my sessions. Sessions where we're supposed to take 60 minutes, sometimes would take 80 and 90. Yeah, mainly for the fact that I used to lose track of time because I was so passionate. I'm still passionate about it. But for me, it was like a no-brainer. Everything was effortless because it was something that I always enjoyed doing. So dedicating so much time to it was really a no-brainer. And lastly, money, do not allow money to only be the motivator. I know that a lot of persons nowadays are picking professions because they feel as if they could get the highest compensation for that. But I am a firm believer that regardless of the profession that you're in, once you ensure that you're skilled, once you ensure that you apply a lot of time to becoming the best, you can be compensated very high. And you can be a global sensation if you discipline yourself, you remain consistent, and you apply all of your focus towards it. All right. Excellent. I think we have I saw a little chat notification. Was that? Okay, I understand giving services for free because it's your cost. Oh, okay. No, you was just
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah, that's just me chiming
No
in.
problem.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, yeah, yes, definitely. Giving services for free. But as I progressed within my career, I realized that by doing that, I was actually doing a disservice to myself. Because for the amount of time and for the amount of hours that I put in to do what I do, I just feel as if I should be compensated fairly. So it wasn't really until I started doing like a lot of certifications, a lot of summits, and I got to network and meet a lot of other trainers around the world that I realized that, you know what, regardless of the fact that you're in the Bahamas, the service is the same service because a lunge is a lunge, a squat is a squat. And for the fact that this NASM trainer, National Academy of Sports Medicine trainer, could charge his rate. Of course, our culture is a little bit different and our economy is a little bit different. If I have the exact same level of education, exact same experience, I should be able to get a certain percentage of that. And what I also realized too is as I expanded businesses, I was giving everyone everything for free, but the bill collectors wasn't doing that. So what you have to also be mindful to is that if you're running a business, that you have to break even and you also have to make a profit. So you always want to ensure that you're being compensated correctly and that your business can sustain itself. Okay, so we'll go exactly. People, yes, exactly. They take it much seriously, and I agree with that so firmly because for me, when I first started too, is that a lot of my close friends and family members, I would give them membership packages or even meals for free. And I found that for the fact that they got it so easily and they really had to do no real exchange, they took it for granted. Okay, excellent. So now for the next slide. Yeah, so now the next slide is pretty much going to be talk about entrepreneurship. And from my experience, what I find is that it's a little bit sad, not to name drop or anything, but my journey in UB, I often said that I felt as if I was being trained to be an excellent employee and not an excellent entrepreneur. And that's one main thing that I want persons to understand is that it's excellent if you're working in the private sector or public sector to gain experience, but it's nothing like, having something of your own. And even though entrepreneurship is something that's very scary, before you take that road or before you take that first step, what I'd say is do your research, follow all of these tips, and nothing beats a failure but a try. All right. Yeah. So before you start, of course, you want to have when it comes to starting a business, you want to have a solid business plan. You want to ensure that you do give it a lot of thought and you do a lot of research before you embark on any business plan, regardless of the fact if it's your passion or not. You still want to ensure that you dot your I's, you cross your T's, you understand the market, so you understand everything that is required to start it and to be successful in it. And so a business plan would pretty much help you with that because it pretty much does a full vision, does a full on breakdown of exactly what is needed from start to finish in order for this business to be successful. So a business plan is a good plan to start, definitely your skills, weaknesses, what you offer, how it's unique and how you plan on growing your offering. So a full plan saying, as I said, pretty much the story of your business. Try to prepare yourself mentally and practically for anything that could go wrong. And a perfect example of that is what we're going through right now with this COVID-19. I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs, not only in Grand Mama, but the entire world, did not expect to be out of business for so long, or for the normal day-to-day operations to change so drastically. And I could say for one of my businesses, well, Cardio Blast, we had to temporarily suspend offering services for almost like 2 to 3 months. And for Keeping It Clean, we've seen a decline in revenue by almost like, I think by like 20 or 30%. And so we're feeling it. But the good thing about it is that with our planning, we prepared for days like this. So we prepared for days like this. On the good days, we ensured that an adequate amount of savings are set aside for rainy days like this. So for any young entrepreneur, starting out entrepreneur, please try to take a certain percentage out of your salary. If that's the next thing, you need to ensure that you're paying yourself when it comes to your business. You should not just be taking all of the revenue. And if you do a good business plan and financial statements, you'll ensure that that's happening. But in the salary that you get from your business, what you want to do is you want to save a percentage of it. So for starters, it could be 5% or 10%, but save a percentage of it for rainy days such as this. Okay, excellent. All right, so we're going to go to the next slide. So the next slide is going to be, it pretty much touches prepare for financial challenges, deal with cash flow blows by saving for a month's worth of expenses or by getting creative, but how do you lower your overheads? So what you need to do is you need to understand your operational costs, and you need to understand when it comes to your business, what is needed in order for it to break even. And in your savings, so say for instance, if when it comes to your business, in order for your business to survive, the expenses and everything else is about $6,000 or $7,000 a month, then in saving for a rainy day, you would know that, okay, if your expenses and to run the business and to break even for 1 month is $6,000, you know that if you saved $18,000 aside, that you would be able to survive for 3 months of a rainy day, if that makes sense. So it's all about saving, all about understanding your business and understanding what is needed in order for it to sustain itself. Whatever you do, be extremely careful of debt. This is one of the greatest killers of small business success. Be frugal. Remember, you're a startup. Resist the temptation to splash out on fancy offices, expenses, equipment, and over-the-top marketing. Your company's livelihood depends on what's in your wallet, so every and cent must be triple checked. Maintain a low overhead and manage your cash flow effectively. And for me personally, when I was starting out, what I tried to do is I tried to keep my expenses as low as possible. What I tried to do is I really tried to understand what are the necessities when it comes to running my business in order for my business to sustain itself, and that Rome is not built in a day. So for me, like cardio blast, was not expecting for cardio blast on day one to be at the exact same level as Bali Fitness. And so what I did is I understand that Rome is not built in a day, and that I just it's good to start somewhere, and as you go through the process, you could always add on, you could always expand, you could always develop your business and perfect it even more and improve. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There are loads of resources out there for networking, knowledge sharing, and advice. Networking is not just for new business opportunities. It can be a wonderful source of support and fresh ideas. And that's so true, because what I can say is that one thing, when it comes to the certifications and the conferences and the summits that I go to on a regular basis, even though I go for the research and development and to learn about the changes or the upgrades in the different fields, not just fitness, but nutrition, business management, hotel and restaurant management. But what I find is that one of the greatest benefits that I receive from the conferences is the amount of networking that I'm able to do. I'm able to meet so many different people, so many different geographical locations, not only in the United States, but in different parts of Europe or Australia or wherever. And with having conversations with them, what I'd be able to see is that how that trainer is able to run his program in that culture, let's say Australia, some of that actually could be applicable to the Bahamian culture for me. And so if it wasn't for networking, I wouldn't be able to gain that or see that. And another good thing too is that when it comes to networking, don't be afraid to, when we look at it locally, don't be afraid to join groups like the Rotary or Toastmasters or any of the others, because that's out there also really good for networking too. Because what I find is that in most of those clubs, you get to meet and you get to network with a lot of not only business professionals, but individuals in the private sector who have top executive positions. And so let's say for me, I could say one area in particular by me being in Toastmasters and by networking with someone who is in HR, by her meeting me in Toastmasters and learning about my services and learning about my fitness, she was able to recommend for me to do a corporate wellness plan for their company. And some might say that's just a perfect example. It's just about to ask what are some ways to get started. Yeah. Some might say that it's all about who you know, but it's not necessarily. It's all about networking. It's all about getting to meet different professionals, getting to understand your market, getting to understand your culture, and putting yourself out there. And that's one way that you could actually put yourself out there. That is one way. And for me in particular, and when it comes to that area, for sure, and that corporate wellness project and initiative, if I was not in Toastmasters, that opportunity probably would have never presented itself to me. So yes, take advantage of networking. Don't be afraid to start conversations and join groups of that sort to get yourself out there. Don't hesitate to ask for advice for those around you, such as your intermediary, bank manager, landlord, or neighbor in business, or online forums and Facebook community groups in your area. And one thing that I'd recommend for young entrepreneurs to take advantage of too is the different networking groups on Facebook. Things for Sale is very effective. It's very effective for marketing and networking. But also I could say that for me, when it comes to Grand Bahama, even though I do a lot of like Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising, and Snapchat advertising, by being in those community groups by Grand Bahama Wine and Dine, it really helped me to get the word out there about keeping it clean. And why I'm recommending those is that they're for free. You can post in them for free. And each one of those different groups, like Things for Sale, Grand Bahama Wine and Dine, I think ZNS has a group, Dove has a group. The audience and the capacity for those groups, I think most of them are like 6,000 and 7,000 and 8,000. Yes, I actually pay for Facebook ads regularly. I'm going to touch that right now on my next slide. So it's right on marketing. So marketing on a reasonable budget. Marketing your new business is extremely important, but doesn't have to cost the earth. Social media is your friend. Create your business page on Facebook is free and will help your online search ranking. Word of mouth is the best form of marketing, of course. But I do pay for Facebook advertising. I pay for Facebook advertising. I pay for Instagram advertising. I do radio ads. And I also do influencers. Yeah, I also do influencers and I do barter agreements as well. So I try as much as possible. When it comes to my marketing budget and my marketing agenda, I try to be very, very creative when it comes to the different approaches that I utilize. But with Cardio Blast, I remember Cardio Blast in July of 2014, it started with less than 20 participants. By the following year, that February, I had almost like 250. And I feel as if what really helped the word to get put out there about Cardio Blast is taking advantage of Facebook advertising. I was running posts daily, and I was having a number of different posts. Even though when I went along within my journey, I realized that I probably was doing a little bit too much marketing, and it isn't necessary to send out like 6 and 7 and 8 and 10 different posts a day. But the Facebook advertising really did help to put the word out there. And so I'd say take advantage of Facebook and do your research and do your research on the different ways that you can market when it comes to social media. Do some research on Facebook advertising, Instagram, Snapchat. Understand the free ways to advertise, because it isn't necessarily that you have to pay for advertising in order for your product to be marketed out there, especially if you're starting out and your marketing budget is very low. But as I said, the community groups is one way, and what I notice a lot of persons do too, which in my opinion has been very effective for our culture, is that if they have a flyer, let's say if they started a business and they have some new services that they're offering, they'd ask all of their friends and their family members to post it on their Facebook stories, Instagram stories, and Snapchat stories. And I find that that's really, really, really effective because in a way, it's a form of word of mouth. And for me personally, if I see one of my friends or one of my family members or someone that I know is posting a business or marketing a business, I'd be more likely to give that business a try. Yeah, and them posting it on their Facebook stories or Snapchat stories or anything of that sort, that type of marketing is actually for free. It's for free. Yeah. So yeah, so definitely consider that. Definitely take advantage of that. And of course, to start, no, you need to keep your expenses very low, but understanding that marketing is very effective for growing a brand. Very, very effective for growing a brand. And what I also want to add too is that when it comes to marketing, you want to be diverse, you want to be creative. Social media is very popular and very effective for persons under 30, 40 years old. But for persons who are a little bit older, let's say above 40 or above 50, you would find that radio ads or newspaper ads or things of that sort of that is actually more effective to get to them. Also, another form of marketing that I do pop-up shops. So what I would do is I would hit up different organizations and ask them if they would like a complimentary nutritional talk or a complimentary fitness talk. And it's a win for both parties because I'm coming there to their organization, giving them some fitness tips, and I'm also marketing myself at the same time. So it's all of those different ways you guys could give some thought, and they could be very effective for growing a brand. And so I'm going to go one back because I missed a slide. And so the next thing, what I want to say is I want to put your faith in God and then a trusted mentor. If you are pursuing your passion and what God has placed you in this world to pursue, you will survive. And I know that without a doubt, especially when it comes to me with Cardio Blast, is that for the industry that I'm in, when it comes to boot camps, I remember when I first started, I was terrified. I was terrified because I thought that the market was so competitive. I thought that it was so saturated. I thought that there wasn't a lot of space for me. And I thought that I was going against or in the same market with persons who had so much more experience and who was doing it for years. And I'm just a boy, who dropped 70 pounds, who doesn't have that much, who at the time didn't have that much certifications. I felt as if I would not, at first, even though I said I would push myself, but deep down inside, I felt I was a little afraid that I would not survive. But for the fact that it was my passion and for the fact that I know without a doubt to this day that I am pursuing and I'm being utilized as a vessel by God, that the doors that he opens for me on a consistent basis, I just have to give him the glory for that. And I feel as if that only happens because I was obedient to the call. Like when also how I started Cardio Blast too is that I did get a vision and I almost was informed directly from Jesus, God, that that's the path that he wanted me to utilize. But after I made that step, even though at first it was a little scary, as I said, and it was a little bit, the money wasn't that high in the starting stages, what he has provided for me within the last 6-7 months, he has exceeded every single expectation. And so that's another thing. And in finding your passion, what I would encourage persons to do is to pray to God to find out what he has placed them on this earth to do. And for me, I know that God placed me on this earth to help lives. And so if just clear praying, if just like praying throughout the day is not enough for you, and you feel as if you still do not get the message from God on exactly what you should do, I would even encourage going as far as fasting. Yeah, that's another thing too. Anytime that anytime I encounter any type of hurdle, any type of barrier, and I feel as if I cannot get clarity, there's no type of transparency for what I should do next, I fast. And it's even got to a point where clients will say, Coach, I wasn't able to see you for 40, I wasn't able to hear from you for 24, 48 hours. But even though when it comes to fasting, I try to keep it very I try to keep it very private. That's not something that I broadcast, but I'll tell you guys this because I want you to survive and be successful when it comes to your ventures. But that's something I do very often, very, very often. And what I try to do too is I try to keep my environment very positive and very pure so that I can hear God's voice. Amen. Definitely. It does. It does. And so, of course, God, you put all of your faith in God. And if you know that you're doing what God has placed you on this earth to do, it will happen. And another thing after that, but of course, you wouldn't hold this other person to that same standard because nobody could compare. You get a mentor. You get a mentor. You find someone, which I know might be so hard because mentors in your exact same profession might look at you as competition. Yeah, they might look at you as competition and they might say that, oh, I'm training you to take my business or take my clients away from me. But I honestly feel is that if you find a mentor who knows that they are doing what they're supposed to do and what they were placed on this earth for, it wouldn't matter. Because how I feel as at the end of the day, what God has for you is for you. So there's no real reason why you should feel intimidated from someone who is rising. And if you cannot get a mentor who is in that exact same profession directly, what I would recommend doing is that it could be another professional who's in a different profession, but they were successful when it comes to that profession. Because even though the subject matter for business is a little bit different, running a business is running a business. And so if you can find a mentor, someone who's very successful, and even someone who's a serial entrepreneur really knows how to make brands successful, talk to them, get insight from them. But of course, ensure that they're confidential and ensure that you're speaking to someone who you feel as if you can trust and who you can pitch a lot of your ideas to. And that could be extremely beneficial. And for me, I have a lot of friends and I have a lot of go-to persons, not only for fitness or nutrition, but also marketing, also improving, even down to today. I don't know if any of you guys follow the Cardio Blast page, but before I send out any stories, there's like a go-to person that I send my stories to get their feedback. And that's a person who I look at as a mentor when it comes to writing and article writing and all that other good stuff. Okay, good. So entrepreneurship is a lifestyle. The days of 9 to 5 are over. That's not to say that you must work yourself into the ground, exercise regularly, eat healthily, and find the time to relax, or you'll end up being less productive. Working on your time management skills will help you clear enough time in your day to spend with loved ones. That pretty much hit the nail right on the head. And it is a lifestyle, and you have to, and it can be an instance where you're, especially in the starting stages, where you get lazy. You have to hustle, you have to work very hard, and you have to remind yourself of the end goal. And what you have to be mindful of too is that this is your dream. So you can, especially in early stages, you cannot expect, in certain cases, you might be able to find another employee or a staff member or someone who has a similar passion for it as you, but no one would push to achieve your dream as hard as you. So like, for instance, for me now, even when it comes to all of my businesses, even though I feel as if I have an excellent team, I still like to ensure as much as possible, if I have time available in my schedule, I like to be there. I like to be there to make sure that things are being done properly. And for me, my day started from probably like 4:30 this morning. It started with Cardio Blast, and I went straight to keeping it clean and dolce to make sure that everything was in place. And so as an entrepreneur, those are the type of things that you have to do. You have to do. Because as I said, no one is going to want you to succeed as much as you. And no one, and you have, what you also have to, even after your brand grows and you become successful, you have to remind yourself about your humble days and where you started, and remind yourself of where you came from, because that's another thing that'll keep you motivated and to keep pushing, remembering how you started and telling yourself that you do not want to get back to that point. All right, you do not want to get back to that level. And with working, of course, you still need a balance. You still need a balance, because overtraining and burnout is real. And early in my career, I found that I was experiencing that too. Even though I loved cardioplasty, there was a time that I just felt burnout. There was a point within my career that I began to slightly resent my profession because I felt as if I was doing too much and I didn't have a personal life. I didn't have a lot of time to sleep. I didn't have a lot of time for myself. And so what I had to do is I really had to go to the drawing board, and I had to delegate a little bit more, and I had to understand the importance of time management. All right, excellent. And so let's go to the next slide. Yeah, so that's just how my thoughts go. Always once, yeah, okay. And so build a team that shares your vision. But this slide pretty much just touched everything that I talked about previously. It's simple. Great people make a great company. As your business grows, you might need to hire staff. First, take the time to interview people thoroughly to ensure that they fit your culture and share your values. Secondly, it can be hard to let go, but it's important to learn how to delegate tasks. Finally, don't expect people to be your clones. Be open to new opinions and suggestions. It's always good to get fresh perspectives on old ways of working. And if you want to find persons who are very passionate about what they do and who take pride in what they do, and you want to ensure that you select team members of a certain integrity level, and you also want to select persons to work for you and to assist you, and team members who are passionate about the vision. So for me, when it came to cardioplasty and keeping it clean as much as possible, I really try to find persons who are into wellness, into nutrition, into fitness. Even though when it comes to certain cultures and certain markets, it's very hard to find people who share that exact same vision or people who value customer service. But in the starting stages, it might be a little bit hard finding trustworthy employees or employees who carry all of the characteristics that I just talked about. But as you go through this journey and as you progress, you'll fine tune. And what will happen too is that if your brand is successful, and if you treat your employees at a certain standard level and with a certain level of respect, and you ensure that you compensate them at a certain level, word will travel fast, and you get a lot of resumes from persons who meet and who have the characteristics that you're looking for. And when it comes to compensation, even though for payroll, I know a lot of persons are saying that, okay, if I'm just starting out, I don't want my payroll to be so high. So for starting out, I might not be able to pay much more than minimum wage, which is perfectly fine for starters. But there was a marketing course in particular where I learned about a lot of luxury brands, and not only luxury brands, but 5-star hotels. And I found that when it comes to 5-star hotels and luxury brands, one of the ways that they're able to maintain their competitive advantage is they compensate the best. And so for the fact that they compensate the best, they attract the best. So that's one thing I want you to consider. When you get there, when you can get to that point where, of course, you can compensate a little bit more freely, understand that if you treat your employees at a certain respect level and at a certain standard level, and you ensure that you compensate them correctly, you will attract the best. And that'll make your job a lot easier, because you find persons to really take pride in what they do. Excellent. All right. And so lastly, never stop learning. Starting your own business is a constant process of growth and learning. It's important to enrich yourself with both practical and emotional skills, sharpen your project or time management skills, learn a new software program, or teach yourself how to run your own social media campaigns. And it's so true. And you have to do your research regularly and consistently. And what you have to understand too is that the amount of information that you know to start your business or to start your brand is not enough to keep it going or to keep it growing or to ensure that it sustains itself. And you would find that when it comes to a lot of these billion dollar brands, each year they have a new action item listing or a new project listing of ways that they're trying to make their brands better, they're trying to improve themselves. And so what I would say is try to do as much certification, try to do as much courses, try to qualify yourself as much as possible when it comes to your profession. Knowledge is power. From both the theoretical and the practical standpoint. And the theory is good, but there's nothing like experiencing, and a lot of it too you will learn as you go through your brand. And as I talked about, when it came to myself, as I went through my journey, I learned the power of time management, and I learned the power and the art of specialization, understanding that I cannot do everything. And so, not to backtrack and not go to one of our previous slides, but that's one of the reasons why I became burnout so easily too, is that I was trying to touch into everything. When I first started, I was saying that I do weight loss, I do toning, I do bulk, and I do everything. Anything you wanted me to do, I would do, and I would try. And what I found is that it decreased the quality level of my brand, and it burnt me out. So what I did is when I did my action item list and when I did my changes and my full year run through the final ways that I can improve, I said that I needed to narrow down my focus. So when it comes to Cardioblast, the main focus of Cardioblast is starting and is teaching persons how to start and sustain a healthy lifestyle. And in most cases, the end result is weight loss and acquiring a healthy BMI. So if you're looking for bulking or you're looking for precisely toning, Cardioblast is not the way to go. It's not. But if you're a person who's like overweight, obese class 1, obese class 2, obese class 3, then Cardioblast is the place for you. And that really helped me to really be able to deliver even a more polished product to my clients and to narrow down my focus and ensure that all of my clients were getting all of the attention that they needed. And it also helped with the specialization. I was able to really fine tune and perfect my skills when it came to provide my clients with weight loss services. All right, excellent. And so that pretty much concludes my presentation. That's my last slide. And so if you guys have any questions or anything that I talked about when it came to my presentation that you guys need me to clarify or break down further, I'm there.
You want to take it off of screen share if you're done with that?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so for me, this was like the presentation that I was waiting for.
What?
I got it. The other two presenters, they were a breath of fresh air, amazing. But I know for me, because I have entrepreneurial pursuits, this was that moment that I was waiting for, and I got it all. I'm so glad that you're doing this. I wanted you for me to just go over how you use social media for free.
Okay.
I heard you talk about some of the groups, and I started to write, but I think you were so excited. I missed some stuff. I know this is going to be the video that I watch forever.
Oh,
because I
awesome.
don't want to miss anything.
Yes, yes.
So I wanna go back for those persons that are just getting started.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to see how going big for free can benefit them before they get into even a Facebook paid ad.
Definitely.
So let's kind of zero in on the how to use the free platforms and how to cash in on it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And so what?
Also, you also said something about influencers and bartering agreement. Like
yes.
Okay.
I touch those too. Oh, definitely, definitely. That's no problem. And so firstly what I find is one of the first things that when it comes to your brand and when it comes to your brand or your business, one of the main things what I try to do too before I even start marketing anywhere, I had to remember I said that as I went through my journey for Cardioblast in particular, and I choose Cardioblast because for Cardioblast we do the most marketing, and we have to apply so much time in being creative when it comes to our marketing techniques and styles. And for me, what I try to do as much as possible, I try to understand the need that I'm trying to satisfy. I try to understand my audience and my focus group. And so for cardioblasts, as I said, we're not focusing on bulkers, toners, all of that. We're focusing on persons who want to learn how to start and sustain a healthy lifestyle. I understand that's my audience. I understand that those are the persons I'm trying to appeal to. So when it comes to my marketing campaign, what I do is I find different ways that I could actually appeal to them. So I come up with the content, come up with whatever. And for starting those stages, I was not using very authentic content. I was using a lot of images from Google. But what I'd recommend for a new influencer or a new brand owner, ensure that you have, even though I know this is kind of almost like a contradiction that I would say this, but ensure that you, when it comes to marketing, ensure that you market pictures of a certain quality level. So I would say that in starting those stages, if you have to do a lot of advertising and marketing, ensure that you invest in a cell phone that is of a certain standard level when it comes to the images and the resolution. That's one. And after you ensure that you do that, you make that sacrifice, then I want you to try to create authentic content that's not generic. So let's say if you're starting a business that sells bundles or Remy, what I want you to do is I want you to try starting out when it comes to your marketing campaigns or your marketing image. It could be a picture of you in the bundles that you sell. Assure that it's of a certain quality level and of a certain resolution level, and ensure too that it's attractive and it's marketable. And then after you already create the image that's going to be marketed or the graphics or whatever, then you can look at all of the free ways that you can market it.
Right.
Okay. And so one of the ways when it comes to the community groups on Facebook, have you ever heard of Things for Sale? Yeah, so Things for Sale is one of the community groups. And so what you would find is that when it comes to Things for Sale, it's one, but there is, as you start to market and Things for Sale, Facebook would actually recommend other community groups for you to market in.
Oh, so did you started then in Things for Sale, and then as it started to recommend other free groups, you latched onto those groups?
Exactly. And the same, most of the groups, and also another way that I would be able to yeah, so I was able to find all of those other free groups. I found that Facebook started.
How many free groups are you in?
Probably, must be about 30 or 40.
All of those are for Grand Bahama?
No. But the thing about it is probably about 15 to 20 of them are for Grand Bahama, but all of those are mainly Bahamian based.
Okay. So,
yeah, and then for cardioblast too. With cardioblast, remember that my only market wasn't always Grand Bahama because I was doing a lot of virtual training too. So I needed to appeal to other islands. I would market in those different groups for free. And so the same way that a person would go in Things for Sale to find a shoe or a car, as they're scrolling through, they'd see different cardioblast services. Yeah, and so that's one way for free marketing that I did. That's one way for free. The next way for free marketing that wasn't around when I first started, Cardioblast was the Facebook stories. To me, the Facebook story idea is genius. And if you could create a broadcast group, WhatsApp has like a broadcast group that you could select, a broadcast group.
Yeah.
Where you can select all of your contacts in one group. What I would recommend is that as you so remember we already talked about creating marketing material of a certain standard and resolution level. As you do those different, as you create your content and ensure that it's up to a certain standard, and there's a perfect opportunity for you to go to your mentor to get the mentor's opinion. And what I would say is when it comes to marketing, let your mentor be someone who's an expert when it comes to marketing.
Okay.
Very good when it comes to it. After you already created all of your contacts or everyone in your broadcast group, you could just say, can you please repost this on your status, please?
Wow.
And in most cases they do.
So for some people, let's say friends and family, they may not be the best people to come and support your business, but
No.
you may be able to use them to repost your
Bingo.
information. So you,
Exactly.
if you got 100
Exactly.
people in your family just posting your stuff for you, that's a
Yes.
good word of mouth. They'll do that.
Yes, yes, yes. And see, for me, is that every conversation that I have with a client, I try to get their number secretly for that same reason. When it comes to my broadcast group right now for Grandmama, I probably have like 2,000 contacts on WhatsApp.
Wow.
Yeah, so for marketing, that's one of
I can tell you I in the blast. Yeah.
Say it again.
I'm one of the contacts.
And I market
One of the contacts.
and
Yeah.
I actually don't have to pay that way. Can I tell you something? It's so powerful because
Oh, wow.
even like when it comes to some of my marketing content, when I blast it on WhatsApp in my broadcast groups or whatever, so it's another way to you market your product to the broadcast groups and you ask them to repost. But it can be an instant that one of the persons in the broadcast group actually likes the service.
Yes.
So that's one way to appeal to them. What I'd find in a lot of instances, after I send out a broadcast message, I'd have a client call me and they'd reply and they'd say something like, "Oh, coach, I love that turkey party that you just posted. I want one."
Yes.
And to me, I would be just like, genius. It's so effective. And so that's one way. So, but when reposting, and what you do too is to make it even more powerful when asking the persons in those broadcast groups to repost your stuff. Don't only say what's up. Say, can you please repost this on your WhatsApp stories, your Facebook stories, your Instagram stories, and your Snapchat stories.
So do you
all your
list it up, or
stories.
do you just say post this to all of your social media?
Yeah, you could say that
Okay.
too. But for a lot of persons, sometimes you have to spell it out.
You have to spell it out.
You have to spell it out. Yeah, but see those to me and what I found and when I was watching a lot of like different brands like marketing techniques, I found that was very, 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 very powerful to do stuff like that. Very powerful. And so that's one way to do those. And another thing is starting a YouTube channel to market your services and talking about your brand to help with your clients getting to know you a little bit better, getting to know your brand a little bit better, helping to create an identity. Creating a YouTube channel is actually for free.
Do you have one?
Yes, we do now. We have one now. Yes, we have one for the new virtual training program that we're doing to fit. But as much as possible, what I do too is that not only when it comes to the YouTube channel, but what I try to do is I try to post a lot of relevant content on my Facebook stories, my Snapchat stories, and my Instagram stories. Relevant content to the brand to help my clients to get to know the brand and understand the brand a little bit better. Okay. So for me, for instance, when it comes to Cardio Blast, Keeping It Clean, and Dolce on their Facebook stories today, I posted some like images of me studying for certifications for CPT to get them more so with the thinking and understanding that I do a lot of research into the field, so you're getting advice.
Yeah.
Exactly. It helps with the credibility. And
Right.
so you find that clients like stuff like that, and that's one way that you can market.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And like if we look at the and when it comes to the bundle idea that we talked about at first, like selling Remy, your clients will trust your judgment too. If you change your hair regularly and the hairstyles that you have are up to a certain standard level, they would trust your judgment and they would trust your products.
Right. So meaning you're a product of your own product.
Bingo. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. And then another thing too. Yeah. So that's pretty much when it comes to the freeways. I think it was one other thing you told me that one other part of your question that you asked.
I think no, I just heard
influencers and
bartering agreement, something like that.
Yeah, the influencers. So what I would do too is that, and we're doing this a lot now, especially with these new Zoom sessions and virtual training that we're doing. what I try to do is I try to find different global influencers who have a need for my service, and I offer a barter agreement. Right? Tell them I would give them a discount on my services in exchange for marketing.
That you know, that's, hold on, that's like you trying to teach a baby to speak. Go slow with me right there. So I need to catch this. That's powerful, because these things bring money to you. I need to get it. So you go to global influencers who do what?
I go to global influencers who have an obvious need for the services that I offer. So we're talking about, so right now we're talking about the Cardioblast virtual training through Zoom.
Okay.
So that's the live streaming of the sessions.
Right.
And so I'm trying to get a lot of international clients for it, because when it comes to the local clients, they more so prefer the live boot camps, the in-person boot camps. So the global influencers will be more impactful, because I'm trying to get those clients and I'm trying to get that audience.
Okay, so give me an example without giving me too much personal information of a global influencer. Okay, let's just say I sell Remy.
Yes.
And I need to find a global influencer. How do I find one that doesn't clash, but with someone that I could connect with? I don't know, to tap into their clientele. I don't know. I'm selling some Remy.
Yeah, okay. So when it comes to the Remy, what I would say, and I find that persons who sell Remy, they do this very often. Okay. Very often. Now, some global influencers do say the barter is not enough and they want a stipend, or they want a percentage, or they want an additional payment.
Okay.
But for some, they do it for free because it's a win. So let's say
global influencers are people that have a big following on social media.
Yes, big following, and they're very impactful, and they have a large following in most cases. Like, even though this is billionaire status, but like global influencers would be an easy example that I'd give is probably like the Kardashians.
Right.
Like, even though the Kardashians, of course, they don't do barters. They do paid. One Instagram post is like $100,000 and $200,000.
Right.
Yeah, but it's very impactful. What the brand would gain from that, it's still a win to the brand. So what I'd say for a small business, or someone who's starting and who's selling bundles, find a global influencer. Of course, female, that's kind of obvious. A female who has a large following, who always looks good, who always has a lot of likes. And you say that, okay, I'll send you like 3 bundles in exchange of you just posting pictures of you in there looking good or whatever, and you telling persons where you got there from.
Right.
And that, I'm telling you, that would be so powerful, so powerful.
Wow.
You'd be surprised.
Can I interject there, because I understand that concept very well. But how do you connect with these people? Like, they have email addresses. It doesn't make sense to try to Facebook them. They do not answer, or Instagram them, sending them. You just don't get them. You can send an email, you get a generic response, you know. So my roadblock has been actually making the connection with some names out there that I would like to connect with. So how would you mitigate that? How would you get around that?
What I get around it too is, when it comes to the global influencers, what I'd say too is that for the persons who market your services, or even you don't even have to. If I start no stage, especially if you have a very small marketing budget, we don't even have to go as far as global influencers. We could do national influencer or island influencers.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
And so what I'd say too is that it doesn't have to be over 10,000 likes, but it just needs to be someone who you notice gets a lot of likes, a lot of follows, and a lot of views. And what I think in a lot of cases, sometimes we don't think it can happen, but if you find a way to message them through Instagram or Facebook or whatever, because for me, in a lot of cases, I've done it, and I was surprised that they were even interested in it. But when you tell them what your brand is about, and you tell them what you're trying to do and what all you're willing to offer them, some of them are ready to post it, so you can pay it to post.
I trying to reach Buddy Hill. You have his contact?
Buddy, we be trying to reach you, buddy.
Buddy Hill. Anyone has Buddy Hill's contact? Because I Instagrammed him and I haven't received a response. You know, you want to connect with your local celebrities, you know, but I'm not getting Buddy.
Buddy ain't local no more, buddy. You fighting Nike and those big
Exactly.
multi-million-dollar sponsorships and part. See, and so that's my thing too. And seeing a lot of cases too is like, even for cardio blast, even of course cardio blast is still there, so we don't have a huge marketing budget. I never ever really post. I never ever would really like reach out to like a Black China or Kardashian. I feel like they are a bit sadly out of my reach, and I suggest that for what I pay to for the marketing, it just wouldn't make a lot of sense. And so, what I would say is that maybe think a little smaller. Look at persons who have a lot of likes, and look at persons who appeal to an audience and a market that your services are needed for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have community influencers that perhaps we're not utilizing as well. So we can start, we can do for those that are watching the webinar. This is so interactive. I love it. Community influencers, then we can go to national influencers that can lead us on to international influencers. But I think in any area where it's bigger than what you already have, slow progress is still progress. Exactly. And someday you will wake up and you'll be extremely rich. And let's see, I think
once you remain persistent and consistent, right, man, you'll get better with time.
So we have a question here that says, "Is keeping it clean open? Love the food there."
Oh, thank you. It actually is. Yes, we never closed during this entire COVID-19 thing. We just, of course, we had to decrease our hours, but we're pretty much fully functional. Keeping it clean and Dolce Cafe are both open.
Yeah. Listen, food is a necessity, so that's why you all survived this global pandemic. I'm almost sorry I don't sell food.
See, but with it too is that it's kind of, and then too with marketing, it's like, and understanding your brands and your businesses when it comes to keeping it clean too is that I'm moved and I'm motivated by large brands. So I try to do a lot of research on them and what they do. Okay. And so what I found too is that when it comes to keeping it clean, of course, caters. Dolce Cafe is right next door to Keeping It Clean. So Keeping It Clean is door number 11. Dolce Cafe is number 12. And yes, so what I find is that when it comes to keeping it clean more so appeals and caters to persons who want to live healthy.
Okay.
So that donut I had that time from Dolce, and you said it was made with like some healthy sweetener. Like, oh my goodness, that's like one of the best donuts I've ever had. So just a plug for your restaurant.
Thank you.
The salmon and the sweet potato mash, like everything I've ever had from there has just been excellent.
Thank you so much. But what I was saying too is the reason why I said it's for healthy is that you find that when it comes to a pandemic, and also when it comes to healthy eating, most persons look at it as a luxury, not really a necessity. So for the fact that you had such a large, and then too with keeping it clean, 11 to 1 o'clock is our busiest hours. So that tells you that we're dealing with a lot of persons who work 9 to 5s or 8 to 4s.
Right.
So for the fact that a lot of persons now have to work from home, one of our main markets were affected drastically from it. That's one way. That a lot of persons are working from home, so they're not really coming out for lunch anymore. That's one. And then the next thing too is when persons don't have that much disposable income and their revenue is a little bit iffy, you would find that they're looking at the necessities and they're not really caring about living healthy, sadly.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a question, where is Dolce Cafe?
Oh, he answered that.
Oh, he did? Oh, okay.
What about the images that you send for keeping it clean?
Yes.
Very, very clear. Did you do that with a phone or did you have it professionally done?
I actually do all with my phone.
I need to know what type of phone that is.
But of course, I do it with my phone and I edit. I bring up the contrast, the saturation, the clarity. Yeah, what I do too is that, and with my marketing too, what I try to look at too is that a lot of global brands around the world, I look at how they market.
Okay,
And
so
that does
talk,
amazing.
talk to the startup person. What kind of phone? I don't want to put a plug in for a phone unless they decide they're going to all send us one.
Yes.
But what phone are you using? What editing software would you, you know, to, I don't know.
To
for the
start
new-
out,
Uh-huh.
and see, that's the thing. It's like, I feel as if in starting out, especially if your business needs to be marketed, that's a huge sacrifice that you have to make. Yeah, I feel as if you need a phone of a certain clarity and a certain resolution level. And so for me right now, I have two. I have the newest Galaxy, and I have I think the newest iPhone, the 10 large max or some. I know it's some high, but the main reasons why I got those two is because the clarity is very high and the resolution is very high. And so what I want to tell young entrepreneurs too is to look at that as an investment and asset.
Right.
Regardless of how some persons say, oh, you're on your phone all day, you're this, you're that. You have a lot of persons who are running multi-million-dollar brands from the comfort of their cell phone.
That's right.
So a smartphone could actually replace an office space. And so the investment that you make in your smartphone, and I can tell you from me, if my pictures are not up to a certain quality level, that could cost me thousands.
Yeah.
Thousands.
So what editing software were you using at that time when you made those photos?
Actually, I use Instagram a lot, the Instagram editing, but I just don't choose any of their filters. I don't choose any of their filters. I edit them on my own. And like, if you go on Instagram, let me see if I can find that.
Yeah.
Victoria. So what Instagram, let's say with this pasta picture for Dolce.
Right.
On Instagram, when you click next, it has filter or edit. I go right to that edit section.
Right.
And I increase my warmth, my saturation, my sharp.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I do that. Yeah. Okay.
As much as possible. But what I try to do too is that, you don't want to run out.
Right.
Yeah. Make it look fake.
Over edit it. Right.
Yeah. Because too, what I found too is that sometimes a clear amateur photo of a certain standard level is more impactful to an audience than a heavily edited photo that comes from a brand.
I got you.
Yeah.
And the first one is more relatable to the everyday consumer.
Exactly.
Whose business really you're trying to attract.
Exactly.
I got you. I got you.
And that is why during this time, I am appealing to the young people to use this time to learn a new skill.
Yeah.
Purchase Adobe or Photoshop or whatever you're interested in and truly learn how to make professional looking flyers. That's on my list of things to do. Okay, but yeah, this time, we're not going to have this time again. Once the world opens back up and life resumes as normal, you're going to wish you had that downtime when everything was closed. So you have to use these hours really to perfect your craft. Get your business plan in place. I can share that I had a cousin who's home on a break from medical school in Trinidad. She started a baking business. And I gave her the advice. I said, okay, now it's time for you to put your brand out there. Yes, these things are delicious and the service is good. I said, but now what is the name of your business? What is your logo? And so the same time I was talking to her, she actually was thinking along those lines. So she has a name. It's called Pink Flamingo Treats. It's available on Instagram. You can place your orders, but she took the time to develop a business. And so now when it's time for her to go back to school, she has her airfare ready. She has a pocket money, but it just took her using this time wisely. And so I'm appealing to all young people. You have something that you can offer.
Right.
If can't cook, I don't know, find out whatever it is, but use this time to really make something for yourself.
And let me tell you, I love his idea of the pop-up shop. You know, going out there and giving some free value where it's not so much free because you're benefiting and getting yourself out there too at the end of the day.
Right.
And so you would say that you would give a lot of complimentary talks, you know, to different business. And so I always wonder, how is he showing up at these places? Why ain't nobody calling me? But no, ain't nobody calling him. He's calling them and saying, hey, putting himself out there and saying, hey.
Exactly.
I have this service.
Now, when it comes to some of, and seeing a lot of cases too, like it happens that in certain cases, a lot of the talks I am compensated for, but like if they're, especially like for when it comes to new challenges, like if I'm launching a new service or a new product is coming out and I need that word to get out there, then I would throw a bunch of complimentary talks. And in a lot of cases, when it comes to the complimentary talks too, because as a speaker and as a public speaker, and I'm sure you both could attest to this, you still want to keep yourself at a certain standard level and you don't want to discredit when it comes to the quality level and the compensation level for your business. And so for me is that for the complimentary talks, I still try to be a little very careful. I still try to be very careful with how much information I actually reveal.
Yeah.
Because I still don't want it to be an instance, okay, since we got this from him for free, we're not going to invite him anymore.
Well, listen, that is the case with most people out there who are influencers. They would give you a free webinar, but then the next step from that, if you want to learn a little bit more, you pay for the next one.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's kind of like I'm thinking along the lines, and I have learned so much about the writing process. So for any aspiring writers out there, like, listen, you want someone to mentor you in that direction, but I want to give so much for free, and then hey, you can pay me to get the rest, or you can pay me to actually walk you through the process, because it is a process. So you have the right idea, you know, give a little.
And then in a lot of cases too, what I found too is that it would be an instance where I would do the complimentary talk. I would keep the complimentary talk at 4 or 5 minutes from, let's say, the executive saying that, okay, he's a subject matter expert. He has all of these certifications, all of these, I'm training. When there is a need for my service, let's say they're doing a wellness challenge or anything of that sort, they call me.
With that check.
All right,
check ready.
We have one attendee, Crystal Turnquest, who had a hand raised. So, if you can unmute yourself, we want to give you an opportunity to speak.
I think that's actually my cousin.
Well, let's, okay, go ahead, Crystal. Can you unmute yourself, Crystal? Unmute.
Does Adam Johnson
now?
Did Adam Johnson want to say something as well?
I don't see his hand raised. I just see
okay.
Okay, let me see if we can get Adam on. If this is not behaving, we want to hear from.
Feel free to type your question or your comment in the chat as well. Unless she had a change of heart.
I don't know. Adam, can you?
No questions. No. Adam says he doesn't have any questions.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about Crystal. I don't know what happened there. Maybe it was an accidental push of the button.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps. I don't know. I don't know for sure.
I think this is the longest session we've actually done. I didn't even.
Yeah, because you just enthralled.
Yes, you know me. You know my interest level, and so you know he is saying the things that I need to hear.
And we all need to hear, definitely.
And, I'm excited for everyone that's on this call that would need this kind of information. I'm so excited that he shared and gave some tips on the free.
Yeah, I'm excited as well.
things that
Listen.
the newbies
Oh,
can
she's
catch
coming
up
in.
in some more. Okay.
Yes. My big takeaway, I would just mention, was the fact that you said you are a part of 30 free groups. Okay, now I understand. I understand where I'm really falling down in marketing.
Yes.
I'm a part of one free group.
Oh no.
And you know, you're not thinking and realizing how powerful that really is.
Yeah, yeah, and also learning how to use the stories effectively. I don't think I've been doing that enough. And so today I have received more than enough information that I think can even take my budding business to the next level. Honestly, I don't know exactly what is next for me in terms of business, but I do know that I don't want to work for anyone really ever again. If I had it my way, I want to be my own boss. And I think a lot of us have those same aspirations, and we have the ability to make our gifts make room for us. And so I want to take this time, Terente, to really thank you for giving us like insight that will definitely benefit us and this country, you know, because I think the more of us who are doing things that we are passionate about, the stronger our economy will be, and our nation as a whole. And so you continue to just change lives from the standpoint of nutrition, as well as, you know, just giving these motivational talks to help us to get along, you know, to where we need to be. So I really appreciate it.
I want to thank you for letting everybody know without any fear of any reservations that God first. And then your mentor next, for not being afraid to mention the name of Jesus and to not be afraid to let people know where your anchor holds. I appreciate you taking a bold stand in that way. I really do appreciate that, you know, because a lot of us, you know, we try to do things, but there is no business without God.
Exactly.
No.
And,
So true.
I appreciate that. I really do appreciate that.
Thank you.
I feel like a kid in a candy store. I have so much to walk away from for what has happened today and even in the last 2 days. And I think today you gave us so much insight on what we need to do to even grow this platform and to grow our own pursuits and to, you know, generate revenue from the things that we're doing. And I'm excited. I'm excited about the next 365 days.
Oh yes, you and I. Yes,
Turn off my camera.
And we should look at this little break as time for us to do research and development and for polishing our skills.
And you know, and this is with this platform, this is just what we're doing.
Good.
We're getting educated. And we're calling in, we say, hey, we want to do a segment on being an entrepreneur. So we need to call an entrepreneur who's actually living it to explain to us the steps in the process. So that if there is a point of reference I must come back to, it must be to someone who's walking the walk and talking the talk. And someone who might go and say, hey, well, I'm doing this. Have you ever done this in business? How did it work out for you in this community? And who can say, well, hey, do this, try this. And, you know, I appreciate that. So listen, we've been here, oh my gosh, for almost the time. So I want to say thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all so much for having me.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to everyone that attended, even for the last, this is the third day. Thank you so much to all of you that tuned in over the past 3 days. It's been a very, very profitable journey. We had a treat that was given away on the first day, so we're looking forward to hearing.
On that note, right there, let me just interject. Please Friday. This is a position that they need to fill like yesterday. Oh, that's my baby crying. He knows that it's almost 5:30 and my time should be up. So I'm gonna go get to him. But yes, please, by Friday, can we have resumes and cover letters turned into the Department of Homeland Revenue, okay? So just a reminder. Yeah, I think that's all the business I have to deal with right now.
I have a lot to walk away with, and now I'm going to be joining all of Torrente's 30 groups.
Excellent.
Yeah, me too. Torrente, thank you. We will stay in touch. You will get a recording of the webinars. They will come to you after everything is wrapped up. And we have our registrants on email. And so you will be receiving emails from Teen, which is a new organization. Well, it's an extension of a pre-existing one, but I'm trying to grow that brand as well. And so I've walked away with a ton of insight today. So thank you again. Also from Queen Esther's Court.
I as well represent Queen Esther's Court, which is a nonprofit organization. And so again, I've walked away with a ton of information in terms of what my next steps will be, you know. And so thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Excellent.
All right, everyone.
So keeping in touch, and everybody will have all of the invites, all of the emails, so that we can keep in touch with those persons that would have connected with us over the past 3 days.
All right.
So thank you all.
All right. And everyone, check out Keeping It Clean.
Dolce.
Don't be disappointed. I'm Dolce.
All right.
Later. All
okay,
right.
bye guys, and take care.
Okay.
All right.